and it will update the most recent purchase date on the Firebase. We'll use the date.now so we can do it for these ones. See coffee, milk, and bread, they've all been ticked. And we've also set it so that if you have purchased it within the last 24 hours, it will come up already as checked. So if I refresh this page, see they remain checked because they've been purchased within 24 hours. You can also untick them as well, and they will also remain unticked when you refresh. So that's kind of the main feature we worked in. Here's the code. I can try and talk a little bit more about the code side of things and what we did.
Yeah.
If that's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, we decided to, for the unchecked, I think for now we're setting it to null. I think that's what we went with, like for the purchase date. Like we're resetting it to null at the moment. Yeah. But that might change.
Yeah, because we also had the thought of doing it if we just keep the purchase date but uncheck the box, but we thought maybe it should go to null. I don't know what's best for that. There's sort of the checkbox. There's a checkbox logic. We use a little ternary there. Reset date and set new date to the two functions. Reset date, as Taryn said, goes to null. The setting date, got a little console log as well there. Probably go to those. And setting it to date.now.
Yeah, that use effect where we did that math, right? To see if it's if the item hasn't, if it's already been purchased for 24 hours, that or less than, it will set it to true. The checkbox.
Yeah, I wrote a little mathematical thing here for 1 day. If the date is less than 1 day. So that's right. And special thanks to Vanessa for going over the code with us and helping us work through some bugs as well. But yeah, I think that's kind of everything. Any questions at all or any thoughts? Good.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
I think that it looks great, the functionality. So I'm happy that you did that, like, really fast. One minor comment, because I didn't check the code before, so maybe not something that needs to be improved, but maybe if you see the set new date and the reset date functions, both are similar. So maybe you can merge both.
Combine them, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. That's probably not hard to do.
Doing like a conditional, like something like that. Like if it's this, then we'll do this.
It's maybe more like putting a couple of variables or of arguments in the function. So for example, if you see both are similar, the difference in the first one is that you set date now, and the other one is null. So maybe that can be the first argument of that function, and the second function is the value of set checked. So if you see in one is true and in the other one is false, so maybe the second argument could be that flag. So that's something, of course, and what I mean is that it's perfect the way that you have. So maybe this is like a minor improvement, but it looks great.
Okay. No, I think that's a good idea. I'll do that maybe after this call. I can refactor that, and if we're up for that time, we can get it working. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, but it's great. What you got?
Thank you.
Yeah, we banged our heads for a bit. It was good. We figured it out with a lot of help from our team. Yeah.
Yeah, really nice work, you guys. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Tamara, I can share screens, or if you want to share, we can demo our ticket.
If you like to share, sure. I'm just gonna follow along.
Cool, sounds good. Okay. All right, can you all see my screen okay? Awesome. So for our ticket this week, we were creating a prompt for users when they create a new list and there's nothing on the list. You should see a message that says add an item, and produces a button. So here, if I do create new list, yeah, get this. Your shopping list is empty. Here you go. Add this item. Whereas if you go to an existing list, I think this is an existing list, it'll show the items from that list. And then our code, we were mainly we're just working in this list.js file. Tamir, I don't know if you want to chat about what we did here.
Sure. So of course the Sensei Vanessa just swooped in. She swooped in and kind of shortened what we initially needed to do with a couple of ternary operators. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So on line 38, I didn't know you could, personally, I didn't know you could add so many to really get it to decide which way to go based on the data. But I thought definitely mapping out through the items on 38 was like, the short way, instead of creating another component, because you're going to have an empty list and then a populated list. So she definitely helped out a lot with just shortening it by figuring that out while I was navigator, which was fine. Yeah, I just thought that was super interesting. It got me going back to refresh on JavaScript because, like I said, I didn't know. So that definitely extended a little bit for me as well. So yeah, with this, it's just like in my mind, I was complicating it, but I'm just super glad she found an easier solution. So yeah, I think that all we really had to do was, let it decide whether it was populated or not and show the prompt. So, but I forgot what the error was, but okay, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think we had tried just doing like on line 38, if grocery items exist and it has a link, then do this. If not, your list is empty. And for some reason that was throwing an error, which we did not understand. But then we found that this Firestore hook on line 12, where we're grabbing data, you can also like add in these arguments for loading and error. So if it's still loading, or if an error occurs, and for some reason that worked when we put in here like, oh, if it's not loading anymore, if there's not an error, and it has a link. So that was an interesting discovery. I don't know.
So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's great. Great work. And I didn't know that too, about the loading and error argument, well, the return values in that function. So that's cool to know that. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, that's good. Well done. Great work.
Okay, so yeah, great work this week. Now over to you, Lyle. We cannot hear you, I think. You're muted.
It's hard to hear me, like, unless you all are just really good at reading lips, I guess. Apologies. So yeah, everything looks great. I think we still have the one that needs to merge, but otherwise, like, everything looks like it's working and doing what it needs to do. So that is awesome. I did put into the Slack room and into the Zoom chat the link to the retro, which has the columns for appreciations, what went well, what could be improved, and we'll fill out the action items kind of as we go. So let's take maybe 5 minutes if we can to go in and just add some cards to those columns. And then I will, kind of start sharing and we can talk through them. If you can, when you're done adding things to the retro board, just raise your hand in Slack, or not in Slack, raise your hand in the Zoom meeting, and then we'll kind of know when we're ready to go. And if you see me like looking nervous, like off the camera a little bit, it's because I'm watching the window. The thunderstorm is now right on top of us. So I'm like afraid that like the house next door is going to get struck by lightning, which used to happen to me a lot in Golden, Colorado, because I lived on top of the hill and it got lightning struck on it all the time.
What happens if a house gets struck with lightning? Does it set on fire? I've never seen it before.
Like usually it'll hit like a chimney or something on the top, and like a bunch of sparks will fly off it and stuff. And as long as the house was built correctly, nothing terrible should happen to it, because it should kind of go through the ground. But it's loud as heck, and definitely kind of scary when it happens. I think we might have lost Mindy, so we'll roll with that and see where she went.
And I was gonna say, doing this on my phone is not working. Like I can't get to the like for some reason, so it might take me a while, and I might just do that when I'm home. Is that possible? If not,
That's
totally
fine. And if like we can also maybe just pause and you know, as we're walking through the cards or something, just give you the opportunity to speak to it as opposed to having filled it out digitally.
Sure, sure.
It's interesting how we all kind of end up in different places all the time, doing different stuff.
Yeah, and I think you weren't here yet at the time, but I thought we had the Airbnb for the rest of the day, and no, we had to get out at 10. So I was like, oh, got it. So I'm gonna be in the car.
Okay, so I think we're getting close. Do we need any more time? Mindy, looks like you've returned to us. Glad to see you back. You made it.
Yes. Give me just 1 second. I'll finish up what I'm working on here.
Okay.
Oh crap, if I can remember what it was I was gonna say. Dang it, I might have lost it. I'll see if I can jump in at the end of the appreciations. There was one that I had, but we'll see. Go on without me.
And then Vanessa, how about you? Ready? You got more to say yet?
Yes, I'm ready. Sorry.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll go ahead and start. So I'm gonna share my screen. Why am I no longer? I just updated my Mac to 11.3 Big Sur because of that big security vulnerability, and now it doesn't think that Zoom is allowed to share anymore. So hold on just 1 second. I need to quit Zoom and reopen it in order for this to work. So hold on, I'll be right back.
You might not have to. I would give it a try and see what happens, because almost always whenever it says that, I give it a try and it works fine.
Okay.
So might be worth it.
Interesting. Can you see
it's
it?
a liar. Your computer is lying to you. Yes, I can see it.
I hate it when it does that. Okay, great. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to start then down here at the bottom, reverse in actual chronological order, because the thing is in reverse. So starting off with one that I put on there. Again, thanks everybody. I was driving across, the mountains on Sunday, making it in to help with some family stuff. So I appreciate everybody not having me around last week. I was informed that I dropped that poll into our room about how much time we're spending, because Stacy's been kind of saying, hey, she's heard some stuff about people taking a really long time on things during the week. Sounds like we talked about it last week, so I apologize for sort of bringing that up again if we already covered it. So you can ignore it, although fill it out, whatever, doesn't hurt anything. But just letting you know, and again, thanks everybody for covering for me. We have Tam's got Vanessa's knack for being super resourceful and a natural leader driver. Anything else you want to say there?
Nope. It was self-explanatory. Yeah, she's just great all around. So yeah, I think she teaches us all. So she's great.
Cool. All right. Juan said, thanks to both teams for adding gift screenshots in the PR descriptions. Very helpful to see the feature working. Anything else you want to tag on to there?
Yeah, the only thing that I can say is that that was one of my suggestions when I reviewed pull requests last time. So I love that you heard those suggestions and put that in practice. So I really appreciate that. So thank you, everybody.
Awesome. All right. Adam, thanks to Vanessa for jumping in and overlooking our code to make sure we got Firebase working correctly. Super helpful. Any other commentary on that one?
No, I mean, that's it. I think Taryn kind of set up and got Vanessa in when we were struggling a little bit with stuff. So I appreciate Vanessa taking the time to do that. It's good teamwork.
Awesome. All right. Vanessa said, really appreciate the thorough notes from mentors on pull requests and their helpfulness during office hours. I've learned so much. Final answer, any additional thoughts?
Yeah, no, just really grateful. And I know it takes time to do all of that, but seriously, I think my learning has stepped up so much from all of your comments and insights. So thank you.
Adam again, thanks to Taryn for being so helpful and understanding and doing all the typing while I couldn't move my arm after a COVID shot. Man, I just got mine on Monday as well. So that was a rough 24 hours after that one. But yeah, anything else you want to say there?
No, that's all. Yeah, I mean, literally, I had it earlier. It was my second one, and I just couldn't. My left arm is just completely. I couldn't even lift it. It's crazy. So I couldn't really do much typing. So I appreciate time driving the wheel on that.
And Juan, thanks to Tamara and Taryn, thank you for showing me how to use VS Code's live share. I've still got to get myself used to using that one, but Did you enjoy it? Did you have fun with that one?
Yeah, it was great to see that. So yeah, it's like the future. I said that, but yeah, thanks for showing me that. I'm gonna try to use it in my work. So thanks for that.
And then Mindy says, all thanks for keeping the project board up to date.
Yeah, it looks like I also noticed some cleanup earlier this week too, just as far as closing an issue that hadn't been closed automatically, it looked like. So yeah, getting that thing keeping everything organized and clear and clean is great. So thank you for whoever's been doing that, or all of you who have been doing that.
Wonderful. Great. So let's talk about the what went wells. So we got Vanessa again with love the cross team collaboration. Anything you want to say there? Or one looks pretty explanatory.
Yeah, well, I'll just add, yeah, I think Adam and Taryn were thanking me for joining on, but I was just so excited when they reached out to me like, hey, do you want to code with us? I was like, yes, I would love it. And like, I don't even think I contributed that much. I was just like the rubber duck that they could explain things and then they realized what they needed to do. But yeah, that just made my day when they reached out. So thank you.
I can't add cards at the moment, but yeah, I wanted to do the appreciation also. Yeah,
I just realized that too. I apologize. So I was
no, all good. No, I was just gonna jump in and say, yeah, like everyone's willingness overall has been really amazing. Whether it's flexibility with schedule, whether it's hopping on a call with us, or just even talking through things, it's been really pretty amazing to have this kind of dialogue as consistent as it's been. It's been great.
Awesome. And that was kind of an appreciation. While you've got the floor, do you want to add anything specific to sort of the what went wells while we've got you?
Yeah, I think that with the just debugging and troubleshooting together as a pair and with additional people there has been really smooth in all of the pairs that I've had thus far. Just being willing to take a crack at it together, and step through the code and try different things and find a solution. And we've managed to do that each time. So it's felt really good.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you. Again, I'll make sure to tap on you too when we get to the next column and make sure, since you're in the car at the moment. Mindy, the communication and collaboration in the week before last in Slack. Anything else you want to kind of say there?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out in particular last week or the week before last week, because it was very, very visible and very great to see. And I really enjoyed being able to kind of be a part of it, even just through reading and through being in that channel with y'all. So yeah, that was great. Also, even just like thinking back to the sync last week and staying on and everybody working together during that time too. Like it was very great to see all of that collaboration.
Awesome. PRs were created very smoothly. Anything else to color in there?
Yeah, just that we had our sync meeting last Sunday, and then right after that, or then we got one PR and then the other ones. So I felt that it was like super fast and like very intuitive. So you got that, and I love that you are like now understand very well the Git process to work in teams.
And Tam, we've got an issue that was slightly less challenging, but still taught me something completely new. Anything else you want to add detail-wise there?
Sure. It was definitely a relief this week to, I guess, do something that could have been challenging, but like I said, the solution turned out to be really simple. So it left me the rest of the week to kind of, take a break from it when the previous issues were really like, a little bit more, it took a little bit more work. So I guess that went really well this week in particular. So
great. Adam, good cross-team collaboration and brainstorming to solve the problem. Any additional thoughts on that one?
No, not really. I mean, like, so before it was good. I think Tony and I we found the problem a bit difficult at first, just to like get our heads around it. But, we, like when I said, we used her as a rubber duck and just kind of figured it out that way, which is good.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Let's move over to the what could be improved column. Again, with this one, if you remember, one of the things we want to make sure that we do is capture any action items that we want to take on for the next week or two, making sure, you know, we improve where we need to improve. Before I dive into the cards, let's give Taryn again a chance to say, hey, is there anything that you saw that we needed to improve on, or any action items that you would like us to create for next week?
I think in general, like I think Juan pointed out, but taking the time, maybe I think it just, this issue particularly took us a few days to sort out, but in general, just optimizing, cleaning up the code, finding a way to condense things, and yeah, just readability overall too. You know, I think we do a pretty good job of that, but it's good practice to go back and see if we can refactor things. So that's cool.
Is there a concrete then sort of action item thing to take? Should we keep code more clean? You know, kind of, is there anything there? Is it just more of kind of a general observation of what could be improved?
I think maybe like Adam and I were just saying, like, hey, maybe we'll touch back on this week and go back and refactor that and make sure it's still working, you know. So maybe if we have the time to and feel like doing it, like it would be good to revisit some of the code, or maybe that we've done, and see if anything could be improved in general.
Tamara had a really good idea on our last PR request. We had noticed there was some like styling thing that needed to happen. It wasn't like really our ticket, and we kind of wanted to get our PR up, but using maybe the PR as like a record of like things we want to go back and refactor. It's good. It might help with that too.
Cool. And we can, there's a couple of ways to approach that problem, right? You can leave comments in, but I'm currently working in a code base that is littered with to-dos from years ago. So that can be kind of an anti-pattern if you're not careful. You know, and then I think you can always spend a lot of time just making the code prettier and clean it up, you know, and you can get stuck in a loop there without necessarily providing a ton of value. But I think it's also important to make sure that you do go in and get it done. Yeah, I think probably something to think about. Okay, so cards wise, I put in one. Slack was quiet, a little bit too quiet. So there's two parts to that. One is we did get some feedback from, you know, kind of Stacy and stuff in the mentor channels, just saying like, you know, hey, we want to make sure that people are being heard, and that if they are struggling with something, you know, that they're feeling empowered to kind of reach out and communicate. I don't think that that's a huge problem with this group. It doesn't sound like it anyway. But, you know, just something to kind of reiterate. The other one is that, you know, I wasn't in the meeting last week. And so, you know, I did kind of feel like a little bit disconnected, and there wasn't a ton of chatter going on in Slack. So, you know, it was hard for me to know, like, if everybody felt great about what they were doing, or if everybody, you know, was struggling or something. So, yeah, maybe just a little bit more attention in Slack, just to say like, hey, we did something and it was going well and stuff, but it's probably not a huge thing to worry about. So that was just all I had sort of thoughts wise on that one. I don't know that there is a real big action item here, other than just to say like, hey, you know, just keep being chatty and noisy. You know, it helps with the visibility into what's going on. Adam, getting it all merged to Maine before Sunday session. Anything you want to add on there, and or are there any action items you think we should take?
No, I mean, nothing to add. Obviously, just I think, you know, Vanessa and Tamara did a good job. They've done they've merged theirs into Maine, which is obviously good. And Tara and I think, you know, we've both been away this weekend, so I haven't quite done it, and it's something we probably should get done. We can obviously do it after. It's not, I imagine it's not the end of the world, but obviously probably better to get it done beforehand. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then Mindy. So we've got figuring out who is going to do what in the demo before the meeting. Anything you'd like to add on there, and are there any action items from that?
I'll just say it's possible you all did that this week, because I was so in and out with the internet that I might have missed it. So I apologize if that's the case. But it was something that I've been wanting to bring up a little bit. Just as a good rule of thumb, it's a good idea to know exactly, like, I'm sharing the screen and talking about this particular part of it, and my partner is doing this particular part of it, you know, kind of just having those split out and decided before you come into the meeting. it just looks super. I mean, y'all have been doing great with the demos. Like I love how succinct it's been, but also clear about what it is that you've been sharing. But having that figured out ahead of time would be awesome. And if there's an action item, I guess the action item is maybe spending some time before the weekly meeting to talk with your partner about it.
Does that sound good? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay, perfect. I think that's all. Last call for, is there anything else on your mind, things that we that have not reflected there that we want to have as sort of concrete action items or something that we should just be mindful of during the next week or two before we hit our next retro?
I would actually like to pitch in on maybe 2 minor things. I think for the first one, I would say maybe like a status like template or something that's encouraged for us to post a status that has like particular, like we could post our mood, we could post our task that we're working on, just something that could initially break the ice for us to throw in Slack every now and then. It could be weekly, because we're pair programming with each other. And then I guess piggybacking off of the pair programming, I would love for a way to really connect with the other team while we're going through both of our issues, because I do think that the issues can overlap. And then, we like in the past, we've had to like kind of discuss within the chat room, which is fine, discuss within the chat room, like the overlap, or if I discover something new that might change all of the code, so it's initially we are having like full or team meetings to kind of be like, hey, you guys, I discovered something new. Maybe we should take this direction, or, just, so I was thinking maybe for the second thing to initially have like a group team meeting some kind of way, whether it's like not scheduled, but I think that would be helpful to kind of know what the other team statuses is as well. So I don't know, maybe like individual and then a team meeting. So I don't know.
So for the first one, is that like a template or a prompt or something for how to communicate sort of the team status during the week?
Or yeah, like maybe just for an individual, like say if, it's prompted to that, like a person or each team member, like me and all the other ones, or it could be just something kind of break the ice and really get us to, fill in the blank or, so it would be, at least we have that obligation to let everyone know, whether it's, it means a lot or not, but it's like, that would initiate more conversation for me, but.
We could set up they have Slack has reminders. We could set up a reminder in the Slack to happen every once a week. And then y'all could just like do a thread below that and just talk about what your status is. Would that be a good idea? Do you think that'd be helpful?
I think so.
It basically just shows up as a message, like Slack bot message that says like whatever you want it to say. You can set up with however you want to do it, and I'm happy to do that if that sounds like something that'd be a good idea.
I hope so for the team.
Okay, yeah,
and
I
then
can do that.
For the second, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. For the second item there, come up with sort of a sync type of, I don't know, I hesitate to use the word meeting all the time, but just sort of like a kind of meetup or, that kind of thing. I'm trying to think of a way to word that such that it becomes an actionable thing for us to think about for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I definitely think whether it's like 15 minutes or what, maybe like a show and tell to just, like I said, I don't like when we're going through the issues, like me and Vanessa, I didn't know what, Taryn and Adam were going through. And I guess, I just would like to know, but I think that, what would fill in the gap would be like us to come together as a collective to kind of work out our issues on the issue. But yeah, I don't know, another synonym for meeting. Mob, no, never mind, let me just myself.
I would love to make just the suggestion that maybe to start off with it being async, And then if y'all find that you need to have it synchronized, like actually do a video call at that point, for two reasons. One, because it's always like having another synchronized call can be, just a little bit much for different people at different schedules, trying to figure out a time that's going to work and all that sort of thing. But also then, like if you're doing an async and in Slack, then all of us, like all the mentors, can also kind of like be involved as well and know what's happening with y'all, and that would honestly be very helpful for communication, I think, for the whole team, like, and also be able to go back and look at the messages that are there. Like there is quite a bit of benefit in doing it in Slack, but obviously there are times when sometimes you need to have that sync up call and actually like talk through things, and that makes sense too if that time is necessary. What do you think of that?
Oh, yeah, I think that would be great. I hope it's just like a casual thing and very optional, just to kind of hop in and have a designated time to just have an issue come together or whatever. Like I said, it could even be like random, like how we already meet randomly to ask for help. So it's like, yeah, definitely.
How does that sound then? Can you see what I've got going on there? And just to read for those of us who can't see it very well, would be sync async with team pair in progress. Start with Slack and see if a casual meet is needed there. Will that work? Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, so I'll add that in.
That I have. Do developers know what is stand-up meeting in Agile? I'm not saying to have that one, but just to know the concept of that.
I don't think we've touched on the idea of a stand-up before. Does anyone not know what we mean when we say a stand-up meeting? Cool. It's pretty simple concept. So what you do a lot of the time, I've seen kind of every agile team do this, but even in non sort of agile team context, it's a pretty common thing. Have sort of a daily stand-up meeting, and some places are a little bit more religious about it, where you actually do go into a separate room and no chairs at all. You're literally all standing up, and you just walk through, a daily sync of, here's what I did yesterday. Here's what I'm gonna work on today. Here are the blockers that might be, holding me up that we need to, sync on to get help with and go through. That way, sort of everyone on the team knows what everybody else is up to, what they've been working on, and things that we might need to help them push through to get out of the way. They're intended to be super quick. So I think most of them shoot for things like 15 minutes. That's very depending on the team and the situation. But it is something that, most software development teams do try and do something along those lines of just saying like, hey, my current one, which is very remote distributed, a lot like what we're doing now, we do it by having everybody kind of type out that in Slack first. So they'll say, here's what I did yesterday, here's what I'm doing today, and here's blockers. Like that's 3 and to the point of a template before in Slack, like that is the format like of those sort of 3 bullet points. And then we just run through and quickly talk about them to reference them. Again, it can be different things. So that kind of thing. Again, I don't know that we want in this group to have sort of like a daily thing. We do kind of want to keep the level of effort not heavy so that we, can live our lives and not, be superimposing on everybody else. But that's something to just think about maybe, kind of as we go through. Is that kind of what you want or what you were poking at that?
Yeah, basically was to explain the structure of that meeting. But as you said, I also don't think that should be daily. So maybe, as you mentioned, maybe once per week in the middle of the week. So it's like Mindy said, like a reminder to put something. So maybe this template could work. So it's like what you have done these days, what are you gonna work next, and if you have any blockers. So I think that this template is like very well known. Maybe it will help you to see if you have any blockers. And also as mentors, if we see that you all have any blockers where we could help, so we can jump in there and help you.
That's a great idea. I like that.
All right. Any last thoughts before I close the retro out? Great. Okay, Mindy, I'm going to hand over to you because I think it's issues time.
It is issues time.
Are you in a good spot? Yes, just saw you were walking around. So like, are you good to take over?
Yeah, I got cold.
Okay.
That's all. So I'm sitting in the sun now. Goodness. Yeah, I actually ended up switching to my phone. My phone's data apparently has better service than the guest Wi-Fi here. So here's that. All right. So we have two new issues for y'all. The first one here says, as a user, I want to filter my shopping list to make it easier to locate an item on the list. You have our acceptance criteria of having a text field above the top of the shopping list. And actually, let's just take a quick peek over at the wireframe for that. So here's your text box, and it has a little 4 attribute here that says filter items. And when you are typing into the field, as you're typing in, the list should narrow to display only items that contain the text the user entered into the filter field. Which makes sense. When the field has text in it, the user should be able to tap a UI element, something like an X button next to the field, to clear the field. And then also the filter text should match any part of the item name, i.e. it should not only match from the start of the string. So if you have cookie butter, if you're typing in butter, cookie butter should show up. So that is the first of our 2 issues. Are there any questions on this one? Clarifications? Awesome. Okay, and our second one here is, as an item, I want my estimated next purchase date to be computed at the time of my purchase is recorded in the database so that the app can learn how often I buy different items. So the AC here, when a purchase is recorded, the estimated number of days until the next purchase date should be calculated and recorded in the database. And there is a script that is given here. It's going to be used to calculate the next estimated purchase interval. So that script is already in your code. It is right here. It takes the last estimate, the latest interval, and the number of purchases, and all of that is explained up here. So you should be able to just import that in, just kind of like you did with the token generator. So it should be fairly similar to that, I believe. Give you a few minutes here just to look at this if you want to. And then if you have any questions or clarifications on that issue. Okay, sounds like we are clear. Let's look at who our pairs are this week. What week are we? Are we on 4 or 5?
This is week 5.
How is it week 5 already?
I know.
This is crazy. Great, so we have Taryn and Vanessa and Tamara and Adam. So let's just start with Taryn and Vanessa. Actually, you know what? I like to open it up and just leave it open. Does this number 9 sound particularly good to either pair or anybody in either pair? I should say 9 or 10. Do either of these sound particularly nice?
I'm open to either. Yeah.
Same, either works for me.
We can just go in order of the pairs.
Yeah, I don't particularly mind. Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay. So wait, I already forgot who it was. Taryn and Vanessa, is that right? Yeah, Taryn and Vanessa. So. Do you want to grab number 9? And
yeah.
Adam and Tamara, is that the other pair? Yeah. Brain. Do you want to grab number 10? Does that sound good?
Yes, sounds great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that sounds like we are all set in issue land, we're done 10 minutes early. So that was very fast. Are there any things we should talk about before we call it for today? Anything, questions, random, weird things, Juan?
Yeah, something to say, just food for thought. I will have office hours this week. So because I remember that the last time we talked a little bit about testing, I wonder if you would like to focus that subject that to talk about testing, if you feel that something that could be helpful. So maybe we can focus on that, basically. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds interesting to me. I don't know about the others, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for. Yeah, that's the weakest point I think of mine is testing for sure.
Okay, yeah. So let's chat about that. Maybe we can even like do some live coding if you want, and we can ask questions and chat about that. We'll see what we get from that. Cool. That's all from me. Thanks.
Awesome. I do want to just iterate, y'all are doing great. Keep it up. I know that it's a fun and exciting and interesting and weird time to like be learning or like just learning how to work with other people on software. I remember it just being very like, oh, this is weird. And you're doing great. Like keep it up and keep up all of the collaboration that you've been doing. I'm excited to see what you keep doing. So.
Thank you so much as well. Thank you for all your help and assistance. It's good. It's going well.
Well, good luck to everyone who's doing any moving around this week. And if you're not moving around this week, congratulations on being able to, hang out and be where you are. But yeah, y'all are doing awesome. And it's been a lot of fun so far. All right. Then that being said, I think I'm gonna click the end button, let y'all go. Again, chatty in Slack. That's what it's there for. Feel free to at me or at the group. In particular, if you want attention, atting someone does give you little pop-ups, whereas if you're not actively checking Slack, you might not necessarily see it for a minute. So always encouraged to do that. And then yeah, otherwise get after it, get to work.
Great, thanks so much. Cheers. I'll say goodbye. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Everyone.